Practiquemos escuchando en inglés. Escucha 2 veces sin texto, después escucha y lee el significado en español. Termina con la frase en inglés y apoyo de pronunciación. I wake up a few minutes before my alarm rings. I wake up a few minutes before my alarm rings. Me despierto unos minutos antes de que suene la alarma. I wake up a few minutes before my alarm rings. I open the curtains as soon as I get out of bed. I open the curtains as soon as I get out of bed.
Abro las cortinas en cuanto salgo de la cama.
I open the curtains as soon as I get out of bed. I drink a glass of water before I make coffee. I drink a glass of water before I make coffee.
Bebo un vaso de agua antes de preparar café.
I drink a glass of water before I make coffee. I check the weather while I wait for breakfast. I check the weather while I wait for breakfast.
Reviso el tiempo mientras espero el desayuno.
I check the weather while I wait for breakfast. I pack my lunch before I leave the kitchen. I pack my lunch before I leave the kitchen.
Preparo mi almuerzo antes de salir de la cocina.
I pack my lunch before I leave the kitchen. I usually take a quick shower in the morning. I usually take a quick shower in the morning.
Normalmente me doy una ducha rápida por la mañana.
I usually take a quick shower in the morning. I choose my clothes the night before a busy day. I choose my clothes the night before a busy day.
Elijo mi ropa la noche anterior a un día ocupado.
I choose my clothes the night before a busy day. I feed the cat before I sit down to eat. I feed the cat before I sit down to eat. Alimento al gato antes de sentarme a comer. I feed the cat before I sit down to eat. I put my keys in the same place every evening. I put my keys in the same place every evening.
Pongo mis llaves en el mismo lugar cada noche.
I put my keys in the same place every evening. I leave home early when traffic looks heavy. I leave home early when traffic looks heavy.
Salgo temprano de casa cuando parece haber mucho tráfico.
I leave home early when traffic looks heavy. I listen to the news on my way to work. I listen to the news on my way to work. Escucho las noticias de camino al trabajo. I listen to the news on my way to work. I answer urgent messages before my first meeting. I answer urgent messages before my first meeting.
Respondo los mensajes urgentes antes de mi primera reunión.
I answer urgent messages before my first meeting. I take a short break after 90 minutes of work. I take a short break after 90 minutes of work. Tomo un breve descanso después de 90 minutos de trabajo. I take a short break after 90 minutes of work. I refill my water bottle during the afternoon. I refill my water bottle during the afternoon.
Vuelvo a llenar mi botella de agua durante la tarde.
I refill my water bottle during the afternoon. I write tomorrow's priorities before I close my laptop. I write tomorrow's priorities before I close my laptop. Escribo las prioridades de mañana antes de cerrar la computadora. I write tomorrow's priorities before I close my laptop. I stop at the grocery store on my way home. I stop at the grocery store on my way home.
Paso por el supermercado de camino a casa.
I stop at the grocery store on my way home. I change into comfortable clothes after I arrive. I change into comfortable clothes after I arrive.
Me pongo ropa cómoda después de llegar.
I change into comfortable clothes after I arrive. I call my parents while I prepare dinner. I call my parents while I prepare dinner.
Llamo a mis padres mientras preparo la cena.
I call my parents while I prepare dinner. I wash the dishes as soon as we finish eating. I wash the dishes as soon as we finish eating. Lavo los platos en cuanto terminamos de comer. I wash the dishes as soon as we finish eating. I set the coffee maker for the next morning. I set the coffee maker for the next morning. Programo la cafetera para la mañana siguiente. I set the coffee maker for the next morning. I read for 20 minutes before I go to sleep. I read for 20 minutes before I go to sleep.
Leo durante 20 minutos antes de dormir.
I read for 20 minutes before I go to sleep. I charge my phone on the desk, not beside the bed. I charge my phone on the desk, not beside the bed.
Cargo el teléfono en el escritorio, no junto a la cama.
I charge my phone on the desk, not beside the bed. I turn off the lights before I close the door. I turn off the lights before I close the door. Apago las luces antes de cerrar la puerta. I turn off the lights before I close the door. I try to go to bed at the same time every night. I try to go to bed at the same time every night. Intento acostarme a la misma hora todas las noches. I try to go to bed at the same time every night. The kitchen sink is leaking under the cabinet. The kitchen sink is leaking under the cabinet.
El fregadero de la cocina gotea debajo del gabinete.
The kitchen sink is leaking under the cabinet. I need to replace the light bulb in the hallway. I need to replace the light bulb in the hallway.
Necesito cambiar la bombilla del pasillo.
I need to replace the light bulb in the hallway. Please leave the package next to the front door. Please leave the package next to the front door.
Por favor, deja el paquete junto a la puerta principal.
Please leave the package next to the front door. The washing machine stops before the final cycle. The washing machine stops before the final cycle. La lavadora se detiene antes del ciclo final. The washing machine stops before the final cycle. I separate the dark clothes from the white ones. I separate the dark clothes from the white ones.
Separo la ropa oscura de la ropa blanca.
I separate the dark clothes from the white ones. We keep extra towels in the top drawer. We keep extra towels in the top drawer.
Guardamos las toallas adicionales en el cajón superior.
We keep extra towels in the top drawer. I forgot to take a recycling bin outside. I forgot to take a recycling bin outside.
Olvidé sacar el contenedor de reciclaje.
I forgot to take a recycling bin outside. The living room feels brighter after we move the lamp. The living room feels brighter after we move the lamp.
La sala se ve más luminosa después de mover la lámpara.
The living room feels brighter after we move the lamp. I make a shopping list before I visit the market. I make a shopping list before I visit the market.
Hago una lista de compras antes de ir al mercado.
I make a shopping list before I visit the market. This brand is cheaper, but the other one lasts longer. This brand is cheaper, but the other one lasts longer.
Esta marca es más barata, pero la otra dura más.
This brand is cheaper, but the other one lasts longer. Could you tell me where the batteries are? Could you tell me where the batteries are?
¿Podría decirme dónde están las baterías?
Could you tell me where the batteries are? I need a receipt in case I return this shirt. I need a receipt in case I return this shirt.
Necesito el recibo por si devuelvo esta camisa.
I need a receipt in case I return this shirt. The cashier gave me the wrong amount of change. The cashier gave me the wrong amount of change.
El cajero me dio una cantidad de cambio incorrecta.
The cashier gave me the wrong amount of change. We are out of rice, milk, and cooking oil. We are out of rice, milk, and cooking oil.
Se nos acabaron el arroz, la leche y el aceite de cocina.
We are out of rice, milk, and cooking oil. The pharmacy closes earlier on Saturday afternoon. The pharmacy closes earlier on Saturday afternoon.
La farmacia cierra más temprano el sábado por la tarde.
The pharmacy closes earlier on Saturday afternoon. I pick up my dry cleaning after work. I pick up my dry cleaning after work.
Recojo la ropa de la tintorería después del trabajo.
I pick up my dry cleaning after work. The bus card can be recharged at that machine. The bus card can be recharged at that machine.
La tarjeta del autobús puede recargarse en esa máquina.
The bus card can be recharged at that machine. I have to renew my library book by Friday. I have to renew my library book by Friday.
Tengo que renovar mi libro de la biblioteca antes del viernes.
I have to renew my library book by Friday. The plumber will arrive between 2 and 4. The plumber will arrive between 2 and 4.
El plomero llegará entre las 2 y las 4.
The plumber will arrive between 2 and 4. We share the housework instead of doing it alone. We share the housework instead of doing it alone.
Compartimos las tareas domésticas en vez de hacerlas solos.
We share the housework instead of doing it alone. I wipe the table while the floor is drying. I wipe the table while the floor is drying.
Limpio la mesa mientras se seca el piso.
I wipe the table while the floor is drying. The internet works better near the living room window. The internet works better near the living room window.
El Internet funciona mejor cerca de la ventana de la sala.
The internet works better near the living room window. Please lower the volume because the baby is sleeping. Please lower the volume because the baby is sleeping.
Por favor, baja el volumen porque el bebé está durmiendo.
Please lower the volume because the baby is sleeping. I lock the balcony door before we leave. I lock the balcony door before we leave.
Cierro con llave la puerta del balcón antes de salir.
I lock the balcony door before we leave. Could we move the meeting to Thursday morning? Could we move the meeting to Thursday morning?
¿Podríamos mover la reunión al jueves por la mañana?
Could we move the meeting to Thursday morning? I will send the revised document after lunch. I will send the revised document after lunch.
Enviaré el documento revisado después del almuerzo.
I will send the revised document after lunch. Please add your comments before the end of the day. Please add your comments before the end of the day.
Por favor, añade tus comentarios antes de terminar el día.
Please add your comments before the end of the day. The client asked for a simpler version of the proposal. The client asked for a simpler version of the proposal.
El cliente pidió una versión más sencilla de la propuesta.
The client asked for a simpler version of the proposal. I need 10 minutes to check these numbers. I need 10 minutes to check these numbers.
Necesito 10 minutos para revisar estos números.
I need 10 minutes to check these numbers. Our deadline changed because the supplier was late. Our deadline changed because the supplier was late.
Nuestro plazo cambió porque el proveedor se retrasó.
Our deadline changed because the supplier was late. Let's divide the task into 3 smaller steps. Let's divide the task into 3 smaller steps.
Dividamos la tarea en 3 pasos más pequeños.
Let's divide the task into 3 smaller steps. I can finish the report if you review the charts. I can finish the report if you review the charts.
Puedo terminar el informe si revisas los gráficos.
I can finish the report if you review the charts. The conference room is available after 11. The conference room is available after 11.
La sala de conferencias está disponible después de las 11.
The conference room is available after 11. Please copy Maria on the final email. Please copy Maria on the final email.
Por favor, copia a María en el correo final.
Please copy Maria on the final email. I wrote down the main decisions from the meeting. I wrote down the main decisions from the meeting.
Anoté las decisiones principales de la reunión.
I wrote down the main decisions from the meeting. We should confirm the price before we place the order. We should confirm the price before we place the order.
Debemos confirmar el precio antes de hacer el pedido.
We should confirm the price before we place the order. My computer restarted while I was updating the file. My computer restarted while I was updating the file.
Mi computadora se reinició mientras actualizaba el archivo.
My computer restarted while I was updating the file. I saved a backup in the shared folder. I saved a backup in the shared folder.
Guardé una copia de seguridad en la carpeta compartida.
I saved a backup in the shared folder. Could you explain that last point one more time? Could you explain that last point one more time?
¿Podrías explicar ese último punto una vez más?
Could you explain that last point one more time? I agree with the goal, but the schedule seems tight. I agree with the goal, but the schedule seems tight.
Estoy de acuerdo con el objetivo, pero el calendario parece ajustado.
I agree with the goal, but the schedule seems tight. We need a clear owner for each action item. We need a clear owner for each action item.
Necesitamos un responsable claro para cada acción.
We need a clear owner for each action item. The new process should reduce repeated work. The new process should reduce repeated work.
El proceso nuevo debería reducir el trabajo repetido.
The new process should reduce repeated work. I will call the customer before I change the booking. I will call the customer before I change the booking.
Llamaré al cliente antes de cambiar la reserva.
I will call the customer before I change the booking. Please let me know if anything is missing. Please let me know if anything is missing.
Por favor, avísame si falta algo.
Please let me know if anything is missing. I am working from home because the office is closed. I am working from home because the office is closed. Estoy trabajando desde casa porque la oficina está cerrada. I am working from home because the office is closed. The training session starts at 9:30. The training session starts at 9:30.
La sesión de capacitación comienza a las 9:30.
The training session starts at 9:30. We finished early, so I can help with your task. We finished early, so I can help with your task.
Terminamos temprano, así que puedo ayudarte con tu tarea.
We finished early, so I can help with your task. Thanks for noticing the mistake before we sent it. Thanks for noticing the mistake before we sent it.
Gracias por notar el error antes de que lo enviáramos.
Thanks for noticing the mistake before we sent it. I booked a seat near the front of the train. I booked a seat near the front of the train. Reservé un asiento cerca de la parte delantera del tren. I booked a seat near the front of the train. The departure gate changed at the last minute. The departure gate changed at the last minute.
La puerta de salida cambió en el último momento.
The departure gate changed at the last minute. Please show your passport before you enter the line. Please show your passport before you enter the line.
Por favor, muestra tu pasaporte antes de entrar en la fila.
Please show your passport before you enter the line. My suitcase is too large for the overhead compartment. My suitcase is too large for the overhead compartment.
Mi maleta es demasiado grande para el compartimiento superior.
My suitcase is too large for the overhead compartment. The next bus arrives in about 12 minutes. The next bus arrives in about 12 minutes.
El próximo autobús llega en unos 12 minutos.
The next bus arrives in about 12 minutes. We need to change trains at the central station. We need to change trains at the central station.
Tenemos que cambiar de tren en la estación central.
We need to change trains at the central station. Is this the right platform for the Airport Express? Is this the right platform for the Airport Express?
¿Es este el andén correcto para el expreso del aeropuerto?
Is this the right platform for the Airport Express? The hotel can store our bags until check-in. The hotel can store our bags until check-in. El hotel puede guardar nuestras maletas hasta el registro. The hotel can store our bags until check-in. I would like a quiet room away from the elevator. I would like a quiet room away from the elevator.
Quisiera una habitación tranquila lejos del ascensor.
I would like a quiet room away from the elevator. The air conditioner is not working in my room. The air conditioner is not working in my room.
El aire acondicionado no funciona en mi habitación.
The air conditioner is not working in my room. Could you recommend a restaurant within walking distance? Could you recommend a restaurant within walking distance?
¿Podría recomendarme un restaurante a poca distancia a pie?
Could you recommend a restaurant within walking distance? We took the wrong street after leaving the museum. We took the wrong street after leaving the museum.
Tomamos la calle equivocada después de salir del museo.
We took the wrong street after leaving the museum. Turn right at the bank and continue for 2 blocks. Turn right at the bank and continue for 2 blocks. Gira a la derecha en el banco y continúa 2 cuadras. Turn right at the bank and continue for 2 blocks. The ticket includes 1 checked bag and 1 small carry-on. The ticket includes 1 checked bag and 1 small carry-on.
El boleto incluye una maleta facturada y un equipaje de mano pequeño.
The ticket includes 1 checked bag and 1 small carry-on. Our flight was delayed because of bad weather. Our flight was delayed because of bad weather.
Nuestro vuelo se retrasó por el mal tiempo.
Our flight was delayed because of bad weather. I keep a copy of my reservation on my phone. I keep a copy of my reservation on my phone.
Guardo una copia de mi reserva en el teléfono.
I keep a copy of my reservation on my phone. The rental car has a small scratch on the door. The rental car has a small scratch on the door.
El auto alquilado tiene un pequeño rasguño en la puerta.
The rental car has a small scratch on the door. We should fill the tank before returning the car. We should fill the tank before returning the car.
Debemos llenar el tanque antes de devolver el auto.
We should fill the tank before returning the car. The tour begins in front of the main entrance. The tour begins in front of the main entrance.
El recorrido comienza frente a la entrada principal.
The tour begins in front of the main entrance. I need local currency for the street market. I need local currency for the street market.
Necesito moneda local para el mercado callejero.
I need local currency for the street market. This neighborhood is busy during the day but quiet at night. This neighborhood is busy during the day but quiet at night.
Este barrio está ocupado de día, pero tranquilo de noche.
This neighborhood is busy during the day but quiet at night. The path becomes steep after the second bridge. The path becomes steep after the second bridge.
El sendero se vuelve empinado después del segundo puente.
The path becomes steep after the second bridge. We stopped to ask a local person for directions. We stopped to ask a local person for directions.
Nos detuvimos para pedir indicaciones a una persona local.
We stopped to ask a local person for directions. I always check the return time before I leave. I always check the return time before I leave.
Siempre reviso la hora de regreso antes de salir.
I always check the return time before I leave. I have had a sore throat since yesterday morning. I have had a sore throat since yesterday morning.
Tengo dolor de garganta desde ayer por la mañana.
I have had a sore throat since yesterday morning. The pain gets worse when I climb the stairs. The pain gets worse when I climb the stairs. El dolor empeora cuando subo las escaleras. The pain gets worse when I climb the stairs. I need to reschedule my appointment for next week. I need to reschedule my appointment for next week. Necesito cambiar mi cita para la próxima semana. I need to reschedule my appointment for next week. Please take this medicine with food twice a day. Please take this medicine with food twice a day.
Por favor, toma este medicamento con comida 2 veces al día.
Please take this medicine with food twice a day. The doctor asked me to rest and drink more water. The doctor asked me to rest and drink more water.
El médico me pidió descansar y beber más agua.
The doctor asked me to rest and drink more water. I feel dizzy if I stand up too quickly. I feel dizzy if I stand up too quickly.
Me mareo si me levanto demasiado rápido.
I feel dizzy if I stand up too quickly. My back feels better after a gentle stretch. My back feels better after a gentle stretch.
Mi espalda se siente mejor después de un estiramiento suave.
My back feels better after a gentle stretch. I started walking every evening to improve my energy. I started walking every evening to improve my energy.
Comencé a caminar cada noche para mejorar mi energía.
I started walking every evening to improve my energy. I forgot to bring my insurance card to the clinic. I forgot to bring my insurance card to the clinic.
Olvidé llevar mi tarjeta del seguro a la clínica.
I forgot to bring my insurance card to the clinic. The nurse will call your name in a few minutes. The nurse will call your name in a few minutes.
La enfermera dirá tu nombre en unos minutos.
The nurse will call your name in a few minutes. Could you tell me where the nearest pharmacy is? Could you tell me where the nearest pharmacy is?
¿Podría decirme dónde está la farmacia más cercana?
Could you tell me where the nearest pharmacy is? This cream should be applied to clean, dry skin. This cream should be applied to clean, dry skin.
Esta crema debe aplicarse sobre la piel limpia y seca.
This cream should be applied to clean, dry skin. I am allergic to peanuts and some types of seafood. I am allergic to peanuts and some types of seafood.
Soy alérgico a los cacahuates y a algunos tipos de mariscos.
I am allergic to peanuts and some types of seafood. The test results will be ready on Monday. The test results will be ready on Monday.
Los resultados de la prueba estarán listos el lunes.
The test results will be ready on Monday. I slept poorly, so I am having trouble concentrating. I slept poorly, so I am having trouble concentrating.
Dormí mal, así que me cuesta concentrarme.
I slept poorly, so I am having trouble concentrating. I take a screen break every hour at work. I take a screen break every hour at work. Descanso de la pantalla cada hora en el trabajo. I take a screen break every hour at work. A short walk helps me relax after a stressful day. A short walk helps me relax after a stressful day.
Una caminata corta me ayuda a relajarme después de un día estresante.
A short walk helps me relax after a stressful day. I packed a healthy snack instead of buying candy. I packed a healthy snack instead of buying candy. Preparé un refrigerio saludable en vez de comprar dulces. I packed a healthy snack instead of buying candy. My dentist recommended a softer toothbrush. My dentist recommended a softer toothbrush.
Mi dentista recomendó un cepillo de dientes más suave.
My dentist recommended a softer toothbrush. I need new glasses because distant signs look blurry. I need new glasses because distant signs look blurry. Necesito gafas nuevas porque los letreros lejanos se ven borrosos. I need new glasses because distant signs look blurry. The gym is less crowded early in the morning. The gym is less crowded early in the morning. El gimnasio está menos lleno temprano por la mañana. The gym is less crowded early in the morning. I warm up before I begin any intense exercise. I warm up before I begin any intense exercise. Caliento antes de comenzar cualquier ejercicio intenso. I warm up before I begin any intense exercise. Please call emergency services if the symptoms become severe. Please call emergency services if the symptoms become severe.
Llama a emergencias si los síntomas se vuelven graves.
Please call emergency services if the symptoms become severe. I feel much better than I did last week. I feel much better than I did last week.
Me siento mucho mejor que la semana pasada.
I feel much better than I did last week. Would you like to join us for dinner on Friday? Would you like to join us for dinner on Friday?
¿Te gustaría cenar con nosotros el viernes?
Would you like to join us for dinner on Friday? I may arrive late because my class ends at 7. I may arrive late because my class ends at 7.
Puede que llegue tarde porque mi clase termina a las 7.
I may arrive late because my class ends at 7. Please send me the address when you have a moment. Please send me the address when you have a moment. Por favor, envíame la dirección cuando tengas un momento. Please send me the address when you have a moment. I did not understand the joke, but everyone else laughed. I did not understand the joke, but everyone else laughed. No entendí el chiste, pero todos los demás se rieron. I did not understand the joke, but everyone else laughed. We have not seen each other since last summer. We have not seen each other since last summer.
No nos hemos visto desde el verano pasado.
We have not seen each other since last summer. I brought a small gift to thank our hosts. I brought a small gift to thank our hosts.
Llevé un pequeño regalo para agradecer a nuestros anfitriones.
I brought a small gift to thank our hosts. Could we choose a quieter place to talk? Could we choose a quieter place to talk?
¿Podríamos elegir un lugar más tranquilo para hablar?
Could we choose a quieter place to talk? I am sorry I interrupted you during the conversation. I am sorry I interrupted you during the conversation.
Lamento haberte interrumpido durante la conversación.
I am sorry I interrupted you during the conversation. Let me finish this thought, and then I will listen. Let me finish this thought, and then I will listen.
Déjame terminar esta idea y después te escucharé.
Let me finish this thought, and then I will listen. I think we are using the same word in different ways. I think we are using the same word in different ways.
Creo que usamos la misma palabra de maneras diferentes.
I think we are using the same word in different ways. We can disagree without making the discussion personal. We can disagree without making the discussion personal. Podemos estar en desacuerdo sin hacer personal la discusión. We can disagree without making the discussion personal. I should have called before I changed our plans. I should have called before I changed our plans.
Debí llamar antes de cambiar nuestros planes.
I should have called before I changed our plans. The message sounded rude, but that was not my intention. The message sounded rude, but that was not my intention.
El mensaje sonó grosero, pero esa no era mi intención.
The message sounded rude, but that was not my intention. Could you show me what went wrong on the screen? Could you show me what went wrong on the screen? ¿Podrías mostrarme qué salió mal en la pantalla? Could you show me what went wrong on the screen? I tried the same password twice, and it still failed. I tried the same password twice, and it still failed.
Probé la misma contraseña 2 veces y todavía falló.
I tried the same password twice, and it still failed. The instructions are clear until the final step. The instructions are clear until the final step.
Las instrucciones son claras hasta el paso final.
The instructions are clear until the final step. We solved the problem by restarting the router. We solved the problem by restarting the router.
Resolvimos el problema reiniciando el enrutador.
We solved the problem by restarting the router. I left my wallet at home, so can I pay you tomorrow? I left my wallet at home, so can I pay you tomorrow?
Dejé mi billetera en casa. ¿Puedo pagarte mañana?
I left my wallet at home, so can I pay you tomorrow? The reservation is under my name, but the table is not ready. The reservation is under my name, but the table is not ready. La reserva está a mi nombre, pero la mesa no está lista. The reservation is under my name, but the table is not ready. We ordered the same dish, but mine arrived cold. We ordered the same dish, but mine arrived cold.
Pedimos el mismo plato, pero el mío llegó frío.
We ordered the same dish, but mine arrived cold. I cannot attend the event, although I appreciate the invitation. I cannot attend the event, although I appreciate the invitation. No puedo asistir al evento, aunque agradezco la invitación. I cannot attend the event, although I appreciate the invitation. Thank you for being patient while I explain the situation. Thank you for being patient while I explain the situation.
Gracias por tener paciencia mientras explico la situación.
Thank you for being patient while I explain the situation. Let us check the facts before we decide who was responsible. Let us check the facts before we decide who was responsible.
Revisemos los hechos antes de decidir quién fue responsable.
Let us check the facts before we decide who was responsible. Everything worked out after we spoke honestly. Everything worked out after we spoke honestly.
Todo salió bien después de que hablamos con sinceridad.
Everything worked out after we spoke honestly. I need to make an appointment for this week. I need to make an appointment for this week.
Necesito hacer una cita para esta semana.
I need to make an appointment for this week. I have had a sore throat since yesterday. I have had a sore throat since yesterday. Tengo dolor de garganta desde ayer. I have had a sore throat since yesterday. The pain gets worse when I take a deep breath. The pain gets worse when I take a deep breath. El dolor empeora cuando respiro profundamente. The pain gets worse when I take a deep breath. Am I allergic to any ingredient in this medicine? Am I allergic to any ingredient in this medicine?
¿Soy alérgico a algún ingrediente de este medicamento?
Am I allergic to any ingredient in this medicine? Take one tablet with food twice a day. Take one tablet with food twice a day.
Tome una tableta con comida 2 veces al día.
Take one tablet with food twice a day. Should I avoid driving after taking it? Should I avoid driving after taking it?
¿Debo evitar conducir después de tomarla?
Should I avoid driving after taking it? Call back if the fever does not go down. Call back if the fever does not go down.
Llame de nuevo si la fiebre no baja.
Call back if the fever does not go down. I feel much better, but I still need to rest. I feel much better, but I still need to rest.
Me siento mucho mejor, pero todavía necesito descansar.
I feel much better, but I still need to rest. I would like to confirm my appointment time. I would like to confirm my appointment time. Me gustaría confirmar la hora de mi cita. I would like to confirm my appointment time. Is there an appointment available this morning? Is there an appointment available this morning?
¿Hay alguna cita disponible esta mañana?
Is there an appointment available this morning? I arrived 10 minutes early for my appointment. I arrived 10 minutes early for my appointment.
Llegué 10 minutos antes de mi cita.
I arrived 10 minutes early for my appointment. What symptoms are you having? What symptoms are you having?
¿Qué síntomas tiene?
What symptoms are you having? I have had a dry cough for 3 days. I have had a dry cough for 3 days.
He tenido tos seca durante 3 días.
I have had a dry cough for 3 days. I feel dizzy when I stand up too quickly. I feel dizzy when I stand up too quickly. Me mareo cuando me levanto demasiado rápido. I feel dizzy when I stand up too quickly. My ankle is swollen after the fall. My ankle is swollen after the fall.
Mi tobillo está hinchado después de la caída.
My ankle is swollen after the fall. I have a rash on my arms. I have a rash on my arms.
Tengo un sarpullido en los brazos.
I have a rash on my arms. I have trouble sleeping because of the back pain. I have trouble sleeping because of the back pain.
Me cuesta dormir por el dolor de espalda.
I have trouble sleeping because of the back pain. Bright light makes my headache worse. Bright light makes my headache worse.
La luz intensa me empeora el dolor de cabeza.
Bright light makes my headache worse. I cannot put weight on my left foot. I cannot put weight on my left foot.
No puedo apoyar peso sobre el pie izquierdo.
I cannot put weight on my left foot. When did the symptoms start? When did the symptoms start? ¿Cuándo comenzaron los síntomas? When did the symptoms start? The fever started on Monday night. The fever started on Monday night. La fiebre comenzó el lunes por la noche. The fever started on Monday night. Have you had this problem before? Have you had this problem before? ¿Ha tenido este problema antes? Have you had this problem before? I have never had surgery. I have never had surgery.
Nunca me han operado.
I have never had surgery. I take blood pressure medicine every morning. I take blood pressure medicine every morning. Tomo un medicamento para la presión cada mañana. I take blood pressure medicine every morning. My father has type 2 diabetes. My father has type 2 diabetes.
Mi padre tiene diabetes, tipo 2.
My father has type 2 diabetes. I quit smoking 2 years ago. I quit smoking 2 years ago.
Dejé de fumar hace 2 años.
I quit smoking 2 years ago. I am pregnant and I am in my second trimester. I am pregnant and I am in my second trimester.
Estoy embarazada y estoy en el segundo trimestre.
I am pregnant and I am in my second trimester. I need my blood pressure checked. I need my blood pressure checked.
Necesito que me tomen la presión arterial.
I need my blood pressure checked. The doctor will listen to your lungs. The doctor will listen to your lungs.
El médico escuchará sus pulmones.
The doctor will listen to your lungs. Take a deep breath and hold it for 3 seconds. Take a deep breath and hold it for 3 seconds.
Respire hondo y aguante el aire durante 3 segundos.
Take a deep breath and hold it for 3 seconds. This test requires a small blood sample. This test requires a small blood sample.
Esta prueba requiere una pequeña muestra de sangre.
This test requires a small blood sample. The instruction sheet says to fast for 8 hours before the test. The instruction sheet says to fast for 8 hours before the test.
La hoja de instrucciones dice que debe estar en ayunas durante 8 horas antes de la prueba.
The instruction sheet says to fast for 8 hours before the test. The results will be ready in 2 business days. The results will be ready in 2 business days. Los resultados estarán listos en 2 días laborables. The results will be ready in 2 business days. Can you explain what the results mean? Can you explain what the results mean?
¿Puede explicarme qué significan los resultados?
Can you explain what the results mean? There are no signs of an infection. There are no signs of an infection. No hay señales de una infección. There are no signs of an infection. Take this prescription to the pharmacy. Take this prescription to the pharmacy. Lleve esta receta a la farmacia. Take this prescription to the pharmacy. Do you have this medicine in a generic version? Do you have this medicine in a generic version? ¿Tiene este medicamento en versión genérica? Do you have this medicine in a generic version? How many doses are left in the bottle? How many doses are left in the bottle? ¿Cuántas dosis quedan en el frasco? How many doses are left in the bottle? Shake the bottle well before each dose. Shake the bottle well before each dose.
Agite bien el frasco antes de cada dosis.
Shake the bottle well before each dose. Store this medicine at room temperature. Store this medicine at room temperature.
Guarde este medicamento a temperatura ambiente.
Store this medicine at room temperature. The label says not to mix this medicine with alcohol. The label says not to mix this medicine with alcohol. La etiqueta dice que no mezcle este medicamento con alcohol. The label says not to mix this medicine with alcohol. What should I do if I miss a dose? What should I do if I miss a dose?
¿Qué debo hacer si olvido una dosis?
What should I do if I miss a dose? Follow the label instructions if you miss a dose. Follow the label instructions if you miss a dose.
Siga las instrucciones de la etiqueta si olvida una dosis.
Follow the label instructions if you miss a dose. I am having trouble breathing. I am having trouble breathing.
Me cuesta respirar.
I am having trouble breathing. Call emergency services right away. Call emergency services right away.
Llame de inmediato a los servicios de emergencia.
Call emergency services right away. Keep pressure on the cut until the bleeding stops. Keep pressure on the cut until the bleeding stops. Mantenga presión sobre el corte hasta que deje de sangrar. Keep pressure on the cut until the bleeding stops. Did you lose consciousness after the fall? Did you lose consciousness after the fall? Perdió el conocimiento después de la caída. Did you lose consciousness after the fall? The chest pain spreads to my left arm. The chest pain spreads to my left arm.
El dolor de pecho se extiende a mi brazo izquierdo.
The chest pain spreads to my left arm. We need to take you to the emergency room. We need to take you to the emergency room.
Necesitamos llevarte a la sala de emergencias.
We need to take you to the emergency room. Rest for the next 48 hours. Rest for the next 48 hours. Descanse durante las próximas 48 horas. Rest for the next 48 hours. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Drink plenty of water throughout the day.
Beba mucha agua durante todo el día.
Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Avoid lifting anything heavy for 1 week. Avoid lifting anything heavy for 1 week.
Evite levantar objetos pesados durante una semana.
Avoid lifting anything heavy for 1 week. Change the bandage once a day. Change the bandage once a day. Cambie el vendaje una vez al día. Change the bandage once a day. When should I come back for a follow-up? When should I come back for a follow-up? ¿Cuándo debo volver para una revisión? When should I come back for a follow-up? Schedule a follow-up visit in 2 weeks. Schedule a follow-up visit in 2 weeks. Programe una visita de seguimiento dentro de 2 semanas. Schedule a follow-up visit in 2 weeks. I need to check that my passport has not expired. I need to check that my passport has not expired.
Necesito comprobar que mi pasaporte no haya vencido.
I need to check that my passport has not expired. I will save a copy of my boarding pass on my phone. I will save a copy of my boarding pass on my phone. Guardaré una copia de mi tarjeta de embarque en el teléfono. I will save a copy of my boarding pass on my phone. My suitcase weighs less than 20 kilos. My suitcase weighs less than 20 kilos.
Mi maleta pesa menos de 20 kilos.
My suitcase weighs less than 20 kilos. I have to remove this bottle from my carry-on bag. I have to remove this bottle from my carry-on bag.
Tengo que sacar esta botella del equipaje de mano.
I have to remove this bottle from my carry-on bag. The taxi to the airport arrives in 10 minutes. The taxi to the airport arrives in 10 minutes.
El taxi al aeropuerto llega en 10 minutos.
The taxi to the airport arrives in 10 minutes. Which terminal does my flight leave from? Which terminal does my flight leave from?
¿De qué terminal sale mi vuelo?
Which terminal does my flight leave from? I would like to check in for the flight to Boston. I would like to check in for the flight to Boston.
Quisiera registrarme para el vuelo a Boston.
I would like to check in for the flight to Boston. Is there a window seat available? Is there a window seat available?
¿Hay algún asiento de ventanilla disponible?
Is there a window seat available? My baggage tag has the correct destination. My baggage tag has the correct destination. La etiqueta de mi equipaje tiene el destino correcto. My baggage tag has the correct destination. I am going to check one suitcase and carry a backpack with me. I am going to check one suitcase and carry a backpack with me. Voy a facturar una maleta y llevar una mochila conmigo. I am going to check one suitcase and carry a backpack with me. The security line starts next to those stairs. The security line starts next to those stairs.
La fila de seguridad comienza junto a esas escaleras.
The security line starts next to those stairs. I need to take the laptop out of my backpack. I need to take the laptop out of my backpack.
Debo sacar la computadora portátil de la mochila.
I need to take the laptop out of my backpack. Put your belt and coins in this tray. Put your belt and coins in this tray.
Ponga el cinturón y las monedas en esta bandeja.
Put your belt and coins in this tray. Where is passport control? Where is passport control?
¿Dónde está el control de pasaportes?
Where is passport control? Here are my passport and travel confirmation. Here are my passport and travel confirmation.
Aquí tiene mi pasaporte y mi confirmación de viaje.
Here are my passport and travel confirmation. The board says that the flight is leaving on time. The board says that the flight is leaving on time.
La pantalla indica que el vuelo sale a tiempo.
The board says that the flight is leaving on time. They have changed the gate from 12 to 27. They have changed the gate from 12 to 27.
Han cambiado la puerta de embarque de la 12 a la 27.
They have changed the gate from 12 to 27. Boarding will begin 40 minutes before departure. Boarding will begin 40 minutes before departure.
El embarque empezará 40 minutos antes de la salida.
Boarding will begin 40 minutes before departure. Our flight has been delayed because of bad weather. Our flight has been delayed because of bad weather.
Nuestro vuelo se ha retrasado por el mal tiempo.
Our flight has been delayed because of bad weather. Can I charge my phone near the gate? Can I charge my phone near the gate?
¿Puedo cargar el teléfono cerca de la puerta?
Can I charge my phone near the gate? I will buy water after going through security. I will buy water after going through security.
Compraré agua después de pasar el control de seguridad.
I will buy water after going through security. My boarding pass says I am in group 4. My boarding pass says I am in group 4. Mi tarjeta dice que pertenezco al grupo 4. My boarding pass says I am in group 4. Show your passport before entering the plane. Show your passport before entering the plane.
Muestre su pasaporte antes de entrar al avión.
Show your passport before entering the plane. There is room for the backpack in the overhead bin. There is room for the backpack in the overhead bin.
Hay espacio para la mochila en el compartimento superior.
There is room for the backpack in the overhead bin. Keep your seatbelt fastened while the sign is on. Keep your seatbelt fastened while the sign is on. Abróchese el cinturón mientras esté encendida la señal. Keep your seatbelt fastened while the sign is on. Could you bring me a blanket, please? Could you bring me a blanket, please?
¿Podría traerme una manta, por favor?
Could you bring me a blanket, please? I ordered the vegetarian meal when I booked the flight. I ordered the vegetarian meal when I booked the flight.
Pedí la comida vegetariana cuando reservé el vuelo.
I ordered the vegetarian meal when I booked the flight. The turbulence will last about 10 minutes. The turbulence will last about 10 minutes.
La turbulencia durará aproximadamente 10 minutos.
The turbulence will last about 10 minutes. I have a 1-hour connection in Atlanta. I have a 1-hour connection in Atlanta.
Tengo una conexión de 1 hora en Atlanta.
I have a 1-hour connection in Atlanta. We will land on the left runway. We will land on the left runway.
Aterrizaremos por la pista izquierda.
We will land on the left runway. I am here on vacation and I will visit some friends. I am here on vacation and I will visit some friends.
Vengo de vacaciones y visitaré a unos amigos.
I am here on vacation and I will visit some friends. I will stay in the country for 9 days. I will stay in the country for 9 days.
Me quedaré en el país durante 9 días.
I will stay in the country for 9 days. Where can I collect my luggage? Where can I collect my luggage?
¿Dónde puedo recoger mi equipaje?
Where can I collect my luggage? My suitcase did not arrive on the baggage carousel. My suitcase did not arrive on the baggage carousel.
Mi maleta no apareció en la cinta transportadora.
My suitcase did not arrive on the baggage carousel. I am not carrying any food or agricultural products. I am not carrying any food or agricultural products.
No llevo alimentos ni productos agrícolas.
I am not carrying any food or agricultural products. I would like to exchange $100 for local currency. I would like to exchange $100 for local currency.
Quisiera cambiar $100 a moneda local.
I would like to exchange $100 for local currency. The airport train runs every 15 minutes. The airport train runs every 15 minutes.
El tren del aeropuerto pasa cada 15 minutos.
The airport train runs every 15 minutes. Does this bus go downtown? Does this bus go downtown?
¿Este autobús va al centro?
Does this bus go downtown? I would like to buy a one-way ticket. I would like to buy a one-way ticket.
Quisiera comprar un boleto de ida.
I would like to buy a one-way ticket. Which stop should I get off at? Which stop should I get off at?
¿En qué parada debo bajarme?
Which stop should I get off at? The map shows a shorter route through the park. The map shows a shorter route through the park.
El mapa muestra una ruta más corta por el parque.
The map shows a shorter route through the park. Please take me to this address. Please take me to this address.
Por favor, lléveme a esta dirección.
Please take me to this address. Can I pay for the taxi by card? Can I pay for the taxi by card?
¿Puedo pagar el taxi con tarjeta?
Can I pay for the taxi by card? I have a reservation under the name Elena Cruz. I have a reservation under the name Elena Cruz.
Tengo una reserva a nombre de Elena Cruz.
I have a reservation under the name Elena Cruz. Could you store my luggage until this afternoon? Could you store my luggage until this afternoon?
¿Podría guardar mi equipaje hasta la tarde?
Could you store my luggage until this afternoon? My room key does not work. My room key does not work.
La llave de mi habitación no funciona.
My room key does not work. What time do you serve breakfast? What time do you serve breakfast?
¿A qué hora sirven el desayuno?
What time do you serve breakfast? What is the Wi-Fi password? What is the Wi-Fi password?
¿Cuál es la contraseña del Wi-Fi?
What is the Wi-Fi password? Do you have a quieter room away from the elevator? Do you have a quieter room away from the elevator?
¿Tiene una habitación más tranquila lejos del ascensor?
Do you have a quieter room away from the elevator? I need a wake-up call at 5:30. I need a wake-up call at 5:30.
Necesito una llamada para despertarme a las 5:30.
I need a wake-up call at 5:30. We would like a table for two on the terrace. We would like a table for two on the terrace.
Quisiéramos una mesa para dos en la terraza.
We would like a table for two on the terrace. I am allergic to peanuts. Does this dish contain them? I am allergic to peanuts. Does this dish contain them?
Soy alérgico a los cacahuates. ¿Este plato los contiene?
I am allergic to peanuts. Does this dish contain them? Can we buy the museum tickets here? Can we buy the museum tickets here?
¿Podemos comprar las entradas del museo aquí?
Can we buy the museum tickets here? The last train leaves the station at 11. The last train leaves the station at 11.
El último tren sale de la estación a las 11.
The last train leaves the station at 11. I need a taxi for tomorrow at 6. I need a taxi for tomorrow at 6.
Necesito un taxi para mañana a las 6.
I need a taxi for tomorrow at 6. We need to arrive at the airport 3 hours before our return flight. We need to arrive at the airport 3 hours before our return flight.
Debemos llegar al aeropuerto 3 horas antes del vuelo de regreso.
We need to arrive at the airport 3 hours before our return flight. Can we move the meeting to 10? Can we move the meeting to 10?
¿Podemos mover la reunión a las 10?
Can we move the meeting to 10? I will send you the agenda this morning. I will send you the agenda this morning.
Te enviaré la agenda esta mañana.
I will send you the agenda this morning. Could you explain the second point? Could you explain the second point?
¿Podrías explicar el segundo punto?
Could you explain the second point? Let me make sure I understood. Let me make sure I understood.
Déjame asegurarme de que entendí.
Let me make sure I understood. We are on track to finish on Friday. We are on track to finish on Friday.
Vamos bien para terminar el viernes.
We are on track to finish on Friday.